Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, guys. My name is Yaqut Zaman. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. As you can tell, my voice is a bit messed up today. So, you guys are going to have to bear with me with my voice, inshallah. So, welcome, guys. This is Roots of Knowledge, and my name is Yaqut Zaman. And on Saturdays, we have a live stream that takes place where I try to answer some of the questions that you guys might have. Right, so let's try to go into Instagram. Until this happens. Why is it not working? Okay, that's better. Give me a second, guys. QnA Saturday. Right, so let's crack on with your questions then. Let's see what kind of questions some of you guys might have. Mustang wa alaikum assalam. I call you sir because I learned Quran from you, mashallah, my brother Muhammad Sadiq. May Allah bless you. May Allah put barakah in your learning the Quran as well. As you guys can see in the back there, probably a light there. I'm gonna hang that up maybe in the corner somewhere there, so you guys can see it. Kazmataz wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Kazmataz. Hope you're well. I think COVID is going around again. May Allah give you shifa, my brother. May Allah give you shifa kamil. Alaikum assalam, Irfan. Alhamdulillah, brother Irfan. I'm very good. How are you? I hope you're enjoying yourself, having a wonderful time. Can I read negative reviews about a company to see how it is to work there? Yes, you can. Sometimes the reviews get nasty though. Yes, you can, inshallah. أفلا يسعى المرء في رزق أهله ليس لي أهل فأكلف نفسي في معاشهم. Okay, the translation of this would be أفلا يسعى المرء, shouldn't a person strive to provide for his family? ليس لي أهل, I have no family. فأكلف نفسي في معاشهم, and thus putting myself through trouble to providing for them. Meaning, I have no family, so therefore I don't have to put myself through trouble. What does the Arabic mean? I ask because if it's considered ghibah, no, it's not. Shammas, ahlan wa sahlan, Maulana, ahlan wa sahlan. I hope all is well. I just wanted your opinion on dropshipping. Yeah, so dropshipping, basically, dropshipping, it depends what kind of model the dropshipping is based on. If it's just a generic model where a person has a website and then they have no ownership of the goods and they haven't made any arrangement with the wholesale or the providers, then this would be considered to be impermissible, based upon the idea that you have to take possession of the item before you can sell it. Yeah, bay'u ma la yamlik. However, this is something where it's because the person cannot guarantee that thing. So if a person can remodel the dropshipping and say, for example, that he's now going to become, let's say, someone who's going to scout the item or is going to become like a wakil on that individual's behalf, then there may be some sort of scope there. I've spoken to some people about this, Mufti Faraz and others, and they're convinced that dropshipping, the models that are generally used in the markets, don't end up in jahala, don't end up in gharar. So therefore, they should be permissible. With this, why are animals called haywan? What do you want them to be called? If a woman had a dispute with her husband or is upset with him and he later calls her to bed and she genuinely thinks it will result in psychological harm because of her mood, can she refuse? Possibly, yeah, if she's ill. Scholars have mentioned if a woman is ill, then it would be considered permissible for her to do such. So if that's psychological, if she really strongly feels, then possibly, yeah. Boxing MMA, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is tartaric acid halal? What is it made of? If you can tell me what it's made of. Assalamu alaikum, Ibi ahlan wa sahlan. I switched to eating at HMC certified restaurants only. Can we eat HFA or even takeaways that say they're halal? So, I mean, as long as you're convinced that the people that are providing the food are, you know, lawful, halal, and you don't see anything that contradicts that, then I wouldn't see a problem in it. It's confusing because wouldn't it be better if he said, فَمَا أُكَلِّفْ نَفْسِي فِي? No. Okay, I get what you're saying. So basically, this is this is this is far is to do with that. This is it's a nahu rule. This is, yeah. So when you're, for example, negating something, and then you bring a fi'l mudari after it, and then that fa, notice that it says fa'ukallifa. So that mansub nasab is there because of that reason. In the Quran, there's many examples in the Quran for this as well. But they're generally used for fi'l amrs nahis. لا تكتموا الحق لا تلبسوا الحق بالباطل وتكتموا الحق وتكتم الحق. Yeah, so that would be so what you're saying is if you had just generally said it like how you would say in English, but this is not that. This is based upon that the rule that's used over here. When you're negating something, when you're saying something and then you negate it. Curry learning or mustard, any hints and tips? Just keep learning them, boxing MMA. The main thing is trying to understand mustard through English is quite hard because in English it's a bit strange of how words are translated. You don't have to. I never learned mustard when I was studying. I never learned them like as a word themselves. I just pick them up as I go along. The main thing is try to read as much as you can. That would be the best thing. Just read. Is it fard kifaya for there to be at least one person in an area in which Muslims live who is well versed in at least one qira'ah of the Quran? Not necessarily in the area. Now, in the olden days, areas were different. Nowadays, it's much more of a larger community. So as long as in, I would say, as long as in, like if you're living in the UK, as long as in the whole of, let's say, maybe even UK, the whole of UK, there's a person who knows qira'ah. Because the concept of community has changed now. In the olden days, it was limited to like a small city. Now we have globalization. Where did the term Ismul Azam originate from? Did the Prophet ﷺ? Yeah, there's a hadith with regards to it. When I was a kid, I remember ordering a camera which came defective. The company provided a replacement, but I didn't return the defective item and don't think they charge for holding onto it. I would assume my dad would have paid by card back in the day. I'm not aware if they followed up. Should I leave the matter as it is? Yeah, just leave it as is. What is the difference between saying an act of kufr versus takfir? I don't understand. I watch your channel. Is it possible that Allah has given some of the Mufassirin a better insight, knowledge, and understanding into some of the verses of the Quran than Abdullah bin Abbas and other Mufassirin among the companions? So, if it's in regards to understanding the deen, no. right? The understanding the Sahaba had of the deen is the best understanding. If it's in regards to certain details that were to manifest later on, then possibly, yeah. Yeah, that, for example, certain geographical locations in the Quran, or certain like facts regarding the cosmos or something like that, then that's possible. But to do with the deen itself, the deen, then we understand the Sahaba's understanding of the deen would have been the best. Of course, Abdullah ibn Abbas didn't know everything. He wouldn't have known everything. There would be things that he was unaware of. Because you said, therefore, I don't have to take care of them. But there is no negative harf like ma or fa. Yeah, so the fa, as I said to you, this is the nasab. If you actually look into books of Nahu and look under the types of fa, you'll find it over there. Is mixing different qira'at in prayer permissible? There's a difference of opinion among scholars about this. Many of the scholars say no. It's something that should be avoided because that wasn't the way that has been passed down. It kind of goes against the practice of the scholars. Imam Suyuti in his book Al-Hawi indicated that the lifespan of the Ummah will be more than 1,000 years but less than 400. How did Imam Suyuti interpret the verse of Surah Ahzab? People ask you concerning the hour. I don't know. I haven't read it. I haven't read Hawi. Is it with Allah only? What do you know? So if there was a takeaway that displayed just halal, would it be okay? So as long as I would say I would go and eat there. As long as you haven't seen them do anything which is going against halal or anything like that. If you see people that seem to be upright people, good people, then I would eat them. Can a woman refuse her husband's call if he has ill intent and uses intimacy as a means to discipline or punish her? I think this is a very sort of broad question you're asking. It's very, very particular. I think these kind of things generally need to be understood in a wider context of things. So, I mean, if someone says, I mean, I don't know, I assume your intent is good. But what I'm saying is this can be misunderstood in many, many ways. Like, for example, if a woman is gonna be raped by a husband, like he's gonna have sexual intercourse with her to hurt her, to harm her. Clearly, that's wrong. That's impermissible. But so again, like, what does it mean that she fears harm? These are things that need to be clarified. Is it okay to use the title Ghawth al-A'zam for Shaykh Qadir Jilani? I wouldn't see a problem with it as long as you believe that it does not mean that. Obviously, he is it's like using Imam al-A'zam. As long as the person just takes it as a majaz. Can we get our hair cut by non-Muslim women? So for women, yeah. So the scholars generally say non-Muslim women should not see the hair of Muslim women. That's what they generally say. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, one of his opinions, he allows it. So this is an issue where there is ikhtilaf in this issue. In this society, if there is a woman, you can almost say she can guarantee that her hair will not be seen by another man, then I would say there's permissibility for it. What's the difference between saying an act is kufr and doing takfir of an individual who has done such an act? So, again, calling someone kafir, I assume you mean by takfir, you mean calling someone kafir, yeah? If a person does an act of kufr, that doesn't necessarily mean they're out of the fold of Islam. For example, like, let's say, for instance, a person has done sajda to a grave, yeah, but they didn't intend to do sajda to the grave in the sense that they are believed that the person in the grave deserves the sajda. They just done it out of, just like a person, reveres someone, bows to someone like that. This we would say this act is an act of kufr, as in it's an act that kuffar would do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a person would be out of the fold of Islam. For a person to be out of the fold of Islam, it has to do with aqidah, belief. Yeah, so it has to be tied to belief, because belief is the thing that brings you into Islam. Actions don't bring you into Islam, and beliefs are the things that take you out of Islam. That's the main thing. Okay. Let's see these questions over here. Salam. Non-challenged fairy. Malik related to that Safwan ibn Sulaim said the Messenger of Allah lesson grade him. Please was asked, can the mu'min be a coward? He said. Was asked, can the mu'min be a miser? He said, yes. He was asked, can the mu'min be a liar? He said, no. I can't remember the authenticity of this narration, but I can check it up for you. Okay, this hadith is authentic. Yes, in Muwatta Imam Malik. It's considered authentic. It's in Muslim Ahmad as well, and MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, Irfan. May Allah bless you for kind donation towards my channel. May Allah put barakah in your wealth and your health and your time. Jazakumullah khair means a lot, bro. Jazakallah khair for you guys, for your love that you guys show towards the channel. MashaAllah, as you can see, my voice is very, very heavy today. The plaque in the background, just looking at you guys. Is it permissible to read historical fiction that people discuss on non-Muslim or books that have it? So yes, it's fine. How are you feeling? You sound under the weather. Yeah, so my voice has been, my throat has been quite bad. Yeah, just I've had a fever at night time as well and bad throat. By the way, I just went to a janaza, mashallah, of one of my friends' mum passed away. And he's a Reaver, and his mother accepted Islam literally a day or two before she passed away. Subhanallah, amazing. He said, he told me that his mother fell down. She broke her hip. So she went to hospital for a hip. And then what happened was the doctors actually did some scans and things and discovered that she's got cancer in her lungs and tumors growing in her body. And he just told his mum that, it's time that you accept Islam. And she accepted. She said, yeah. And subhanallah, imagine that your whole life, she's over 70 years old. No salat, no nothing. She passed away. And then we did a janazah. Yeah, just today at Maghrib time. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. GH wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, when's the Asufa Tajweed course restarting? I'm not too sure, what you have to do is if you email into Asufa, because I don't deal with that department. So if you email into Asufa, you ask them, most likely it's probably going to be either next Sunday or the Sunday after. It's either next Sunday or Sunday after. What is Haraj? Can a husband... You got loads of husband questions. Can a husband use his right to cause his wife Haraj? I don't know. Can speaking badly of a group, organization, or company be ghiba, or is it only ghiba if it is specific individual? Yeah, specific individual. Is it haram to say Sat Sarkar? Oh, is that Sasriyakal? The Sikh say. I don't know, what does it mean? Do you know what it means? AI, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, ahlan wa sahlan, AI. Abdullah Afzal, ahlan wa sahlan, mashallah. Should one pray Fajr if they slept through it? Also, if is it haram? Should one pray Fajr? Of course, if you miss your Fajr, you do Qadha. Also, is it haram to not set an alarm to wake up for Fajr even though you know most likely you will sleep through it? So what I would suggest is that you should have some sort of means of trying to wake you up. There should be some sort of means that you should wake up. It's not necessary, it's not further to set an alarm, but you should have something like, for example, I don't like alarm clocks. They give me this like headache, and so what I do is I have this light I actually bought. It's an alarm light. So what it does is when it in the morning, its light intensity increases bit by bit until it becomes really bright in the room. So then I wake up. I find that easier than the alarm. What's the difference between the takfir of fuqaha and the kalah? I have no idea. You got some tough questions. And you may Allah subhanahu means Jazakallah khair Irfan. Aisha, what's the best way to translate mukhlisina lahuddin? So mukhlisina is from the word akhlasa. Akhlasa means to make purely solely for Allah, for him, lahu. So mukhlisina lahu ad-din, making deen, submission, or making the religion purely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As in this is as opposed to the mushrikeen who are mushrikeen lahuddin. So they would do shirk with Allah in the deen. So us as Muslims, our belief is submission to Allah, Islam, and we do not do any ikhlas to anyone else except to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As in our religion is purely solely for Allah. Can you explain the differences between Hanafi Aqidah and the three Sunni schools of thought? There's no difference between Hanafi Aqidah and others. No, they all believe the same. So basically, just like a general thing, Aqidah, everyone believes in the Quran. Everyone believes in the explanation given by the Prophet. This is everyone's belief. There's no, if anyone has any differences in this, they can't be Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Okay? Because belief basically means something which you accept without any sort of like without any rational reason. Yeah, we believe Allah exists, but whatever Allah tells us without rationally thinking about it, we accept it. So whatever's in the Quran, we accept it. That's what Aqidah is. So Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah includes the Hanafis and the Shafis and the Malikis and everyone. But what happened was, as time went by, foreign influences slowly started to attack Muslims. So, for example, there were debates and things, and Christians and fire worshippers, and these various groups began to pose questions to Muslims. What do you guys say about this? Then what do you guys say? So there were many questions which the Quran or the Hadith has not detailed. Like, for example, things like how does Qadr work? How does divine decree work? The details of that are not mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah. Or, for example, things like, is the Quran the word of Allah or is it a creation of Allah? These are the kind of things that were later on. Now, to combat this, some some Muslims began to use pure rationale to try and understand all this. This was called the Mu'tazila group, and there were many types of them. And then the Mu'tazila actually began to just say, well, our rational, so like cognitive faculties that Allah has given us, that's the main way we're going to understand Aqidah. And any Aqidah that does not fit in with our rational way of thought process, that we're going to interpret it to fit our rational thought process. So they began to take the whole of the Aqidah and they began to fit it through their rational thinking. Does it make sense? Does it make sense like that? And then to combat this, the Imam Abu Hassan Ash'ari, Abu Mansur Maturidi, they came and they began to combat this because this was problematic. So, so when people say there's different aqidas, there's no different aqidas. Everyone believes in the same thing. It's just how the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah later on began to use, rational deleels to support. That's what it is. Ameen, Ameen, Jazakallah khair. So this rule for fa is just like ataf in that it carries over negative. Laysa, it's not positive, and that's correct. Yeah, that's if you check in Nahu books, you'll find it there. I remember I studied this in first year when I was studying in Nahwu al-Wadih. Nahwu al-Wadih has it. Are private pensions halal? Generally, it would be a contribution of your wage plus a contribution the company puts in. So, what do they invest in? Do you know what they invest in? All depends upon what the investment is made in. If it's made in a halal company, then it's halal. If it's made in a haram company, it's not allowed. I mean, after finishing Qasas Nabiyyin series for someone trying to read Hariri, how would one get there? I wouldn't suggest jumping to Hariri straight away. If you want to get to Hariri, I think you should need to study other types of texts like Mukhtarat. Study Mukhtarat by Abul Hasan Nadawi, very, very good. Study, Al-Nadarat by Al-Manfluti. Study Mustafa Rafi. Maqamat, study it later because it's too dense. Is it permissible to say Sadaqallah al-Azim after reciting a surah? Yes. I need to catch the Isha Jama'ah. Feel better soon. Inshallah. Take care, inshallah, Irfan. Be good. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bizk. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Mustang, tell me any du'as which protects me from black magic. Read the last 3 surahs of the Quran. Purple plants, wa alaikum assalam. Aside from men praying fard in masjid, is it better for them to pray sunnahs of the salah at the masjid at home? Generally at home. But if they fear that they're not going to be able to make it and pray at home, then they should pray in the masjid. What is the ruling on certain people who attribute direction and place to Allah? So, anyone who attributes direction and place to Allah is innovating. This is innovation, yeah. We are allowed to make dua in sujood in our own language in nafal salah. How about our sunnah muakkadas? Yes. Is there a limit to which we can read Surah Kahf on Friday? Must it be before Jummah Salah? No, it can be all the way up to Maghrib. You guys are very nice. Thank you very much. GH, thoughts on combining Maghrib and Isha now that Isha is getting later? And so generally, I wait 1 hour after Maghrib and pray my Isha. Yeah, so 1 hour after Maghrib, and then I'll pray my Isha. So can we say that living in a joint family system is un-Islamic? Not necessarily un-Islamic, no. Spend wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, spend. Do you takfir of those people, although the belief itself is kufr? No. So, the scholars have mentioned, many of the Hanafi scholars have mentioned as well. This is mentioned in Radd al-Muhtar. Ibn Abidin has mentioned this as well. So, we don't do takfir of them. Which books going from beginner to advanced should one study under a teacher? There's loads of books. If you tell me a specific subject. Okay, in Aqidah you mean. Alright, so first of all, Quran. If you want to understand Aqidah properly, you have to cover the entire Quran cover to cover. Honestly, if you don't study the Quran cover to cover and you want to study an Aqidah book, you need to be slapped in your face. And if someone says to me, but loads of scholars do it, well, that's their opinion. I personally think this is the way the Sahaba first learned the Quran. That was their Aqidah. The Prophet explained the Quran or application to them. That was their Aqidah. So first of all, you learn the Quran cover to cover with the meaning, with a teacher. Number 2, after that, then you study the chapters of Aqidah in the books of Hadith. Yeah, that's the second. Then number 3 is you study about the different factions that came about. Yeah, so different factions that came about in the early parts of Islam, history of them. So the first 200 years of Islam, or maybe even 300 years of Islam, you learn about all the factions. And then after that, study Aqidat Tahawiyah. And then after that, you can study Fiqh al-Akbar. And then if you can study any other book that you want to study after that, it's fine. And if you want to go into Ilm al-Kalam after that, you can go into Ilm al-Kalam after that. But I would say generally, that's the main thing that people overlook. Yeah, so they overlook. They tend to overlook this whole, and I think people get like, the sad thing is people want to study Aqidah in detail, but they get bored of it. That's the truth, because Aqidah can become, in certain points, can become quite dry if you haven't studied Quran properly, if you haven't studied Hadith properly. Oh yeah, I've got a curious cat. Let's check out curious cat. See what curious cat is saying. Okay, let's see. Curious cat is saying. Do you know of any easy to read sharahs of Aqidah Tahawiyah, English or Arabic? Okay, so there's English translation with by Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. Yeah, you can read that. Some Arabic ones, an easy one to follow. Maidani's probably. Yeah. So Arabic. Al Maidani. Al Maidani is probably one of the easiest ones. Or is there any other ones? Al Ghaznavi. Al Ghaznawi. These are short ones, easy ones. I'm trying to think if there's any. There's one I had which was by Sheikh Abdullah Harari. Although you know he had very extreme takfiri sort of views on other issues. His just translation of the Aqidah Tahawiyah was good, or brief explanation. Okay, let's check some questions right here. Okay, Salams, can you borrow money to perform Hajj, or should you save and then go? Salam, yes, you can borrow. You can borrow money to go for Hajj is fine, but it's not necessary for you to go for Hajj unless you have the means. Salam, would Fard prayer while seated on a plane have to be repeated later? No. Would praying in this manner be preferable to praying as normal Qiyam Ruku by combining Salah? Salam, no need to repeat it. Hanafis don't consider combining to be permissible, but other madhabs do. Okay, next. Salam, I ordered something online. A couple of days later, I received an email saying my refund for the particular item has been processed, but I hadn't returned the item and that my refund is on the way. I called customer service to let them know about the mistake. They said they'll cancel the refund, but I still got it. What should I do? Salam, I would contact them to see what to do next. Yeah, so it's technically their money, so you should contact them to see what's next. What type of ejaculation necessitates whistles for females? It's based on whether she has an orgasm or not. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Transaction. Original buyer and seller agree on a transaction. Seller sells 10 apples. Original buyer gives one as give total is 11. Both agree deal is done on 11. Later on, one of the parties wants to nullify. Does he take back? Yes, he takes back all 11. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Is it permissible to wear a belt to hold up the izar? Yes. Yes. So in the state of ihram, you can wear a belt. What is the meaning of the Prophet ﷺ granddad Umama? Umama, I'm not, I mean, if it's from the word to lead, then it has that meaning in there of leadership. I can't recall at the moment. 1 second, let me just have a quick check in the dictionary. Okay. Yeah, it's from that same root word. To be a leader or leadership. Umama also refers to 300 camels. It's called an umama. Yeah, so umama means something that's ahead, in front, leader. Okay, let's go back to this then. Okay, Mufti, have you read Ramadan al-Buti's Kubra al-Yaqiniyat? I've read sections of it, yeah. It's very good. He's actually got lessons on YouTube in Arabic, which are very, very, very good, nice. So can you please explain that a bit more? Because I've heard people, especially younger generation, say that the Sahaba never had joint families. So Sahaba not having joint families, so first of all, did they have joint families or not? Was it in their culture? Was it not in their culture? That's something totally different. I don't think the person who's said that, the younger generation, I don't think they probably have researched historical facts about. But the having extended family is permissible. Living together is considered to be permissible. Historically, Muslims have done it. There's many cultures that have done it as well. As long as people have the concept of obviously hijab and these rules, then it's fine. Yeah. The thing is, I think a lot of people, younger generations, talk about a lot of things, but I don't think they really have the true full data and facts. So it wouldn't be something that's un-Islamic. Like when they say something's un-Islamic, is driving a car un-Islamic? Sahaba didn't have cars. Does that mean it's un-Islamic? Yeah, or is living in the UK un-Islamic? Because no Sahabi ever lived in the UK. It's like one of those kind of ones. Do you get the same reward of reading Surah Kahf if you read the first and last ayats? No, you don't. MashaAllah, the play button plaque looks very nice in the corner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hang it up, inshallah. I'm gonna try to hang it up there, maybe get a light for it. There. Hang it up there. Get it a light. Oh, you gave pretty general advice. Just continue to read easier literature books before Muqamat. So that was how to know when to read it. You will know when to read it. That's the thing. You know, when you just keep reading and writing, your Arabic will develop itself. You realize you're ready to read it. If you can listen to an Arabic book, or if you can read it, and you yourself can understand 70-80% of it without a dictionary, I would say you're ready to read it. Ghazali Sharh has been translated. Ah, has it? Also, you usually recommend to read story books. I don't know, like by Keilani. Wouldn't that way to level up just be going through other like Mukhtarat? Yeah, but the thing is, Mukhtarat has different types of genres of Arabic in there. So the main thing is, look, if someone's going to learn Arabic, what do they want? Do they just want to dip into different genres, or do they want to have like a thorough reading of Arabic? And if you want a thorough reading of Arabic, you need to read consistently certain types of genres for a long time. That's how you're going to develop. Otherwise, unfortunately, what happens with students is like lots of people will graduate from madrasa, they can't read an Arabic newspaper because they're not used to reading that genre, or they can't read Arabic magazines, or they can't read Arabic novels. And that's something that just a a few types of genre are out there. And there's other types of classical genre that they probably can't read as well, like classical poetry or Farid. Ahlan wa sahlan wa alaikum assalam, my brother Farid. I just want to say hi to you, my brother. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Farid. May Allah bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For a young woman, for a young man, what is the stance of growing the beard? Is it compulsory? Yes. So having facial hair is compulsory. So once you have studied the Quran, including tafsir, then move on to a hadith regarding Aqidah. No, you don't have to study at tafsir. No, you don't have to tafsir. Just have to study the Quran with the teacher, study the chapters of Aqidah in hadith, and then move on to, like I said, third is factions, historical factions, and then move on to Aqidah Tahawiyah. Found £40 randomly on the road at night months ago. Should I have given it a charity since I don't know? Yeah, let's give it a charity. I'm starting the Dars in Islamic course. I've studied the Maliki fiqh and we memorize certain primers. What books in the Hanafi madhab should I memorize, and what other primers in the? So it depends. I mean, you don't have to memorize books, but if you're good at memorizing, then mashallah, it's very good. I would suggest uh, if you want to in the Hanafi madhab, I would suggest memorizing something like um, if you can memorize Tuhfat al-Tullab, it's a poem. Yeah, 1,000 poems, 1,000 couplets, then that's very good if you can do it, guys. But I mean, I'm not too keen on memorizing things if there's another easier way to do it. Yeah, I don't have really good memory. I'll remember something, then maybe if I don't go over it, I'll forget it. So this is why I would generally advise people try to memorize. If you want to memorize, good to memorize. But our teachers used to say one book of every subject you should try to memorize. He's against memorizing. Is the qawl that Bilqis' mother being a jinn woman weak? I've never come across it. Ibn Adam alaykum assalam. If you pray in a moving vehicle, e.g. train, due to fear of salah time running out and no ability to stop somewhere, is it advisable to repeat the sun? No, you can pray, it's fine. You mentioned many books. Is it possible to let know a specific methodology in revising books to keep vocab nahu used in the book, etc.? I mean, I don't know. I'm not too keen on memorizing vocab. What I tend to tell people is just try to read as many books as you can. Just continue to read many books and write. Two things you got to do: read a lot and write a lot. The amount that you read, you should, I would say, the amount that you read, you should write. Um, so if you read about 10 pages, you should write 1 page. Yeah. So for every 10 pages, you should write 1 page. That's how you're going to develop yourself. It's a language, isn't it? You're acquiring skills, you're acquiring vocab naturally. What is considered haraj in Sharia? So it depends. There's a ikhtilaf with regards to scholars in between the definition of darura, of haraj, of tahsiniyat. Haraj is usually, according to many scholars, considered to be something which puts a person into difficulty where they still can live. They can live, meaning they can function life, but it just puts them into a bit of a difficulty in life. Hamza, wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. Ameen, jazakallah khair. Is Ibn Hammam's At-Tahrir in Usul considered the best book for comparing the Usul of Fuqaha Mutakallimin? I haven't heard anyone call it the best book. In that, no, I haven't heard anyone call it the best book. But it's considered to be Jama Baina Tariqatain. Yeah, definitely. It is one of the books because it was written in that era when scholars were compiling the two tariqas. So if someone asks you a fiqh opinion, do you always say that this opinion is according to the Hanafi school? Yes. Yeah, because that's what I'm trained in. Unfortunately, I'm not trained in the Shafi madhab or Maliki or Hanbali, so I wouldn't be able to give you like I can say something, I can like say to you, okay, the Maliki say this, but I wouldn't be accurate in what they say. And I don't like to say that. I don't like to if I don't know something or if I don't feel as though I'm doing justice to it, I don't like telling people that. Also, what is a good sarf book you recommend for a student to keep as a regular review? Ilmu Sigha is very good. Yeah, it's a very good book to keep reviewing. Definitely add. And there's also a book by there's a book by yeah, if I remember, I'll let you know. But yeah, Ilmu Sigha is quite good. Aliya wa alaikum assalam. How bad is it to attend a Mother's Day get together or to give presents on Mother's Day? It's not bad. It's not bad. And birthdays are not bad as well. Why do some of the general population of people undermine growing of the beard as a sunnah only then? I have no idea. Good question. What is super chat? Super chat. Super chat is basically so if a person donates towards my channel, when they donate, it comes up as a super chat. What's the ruling on playing video games? Some do have aura. Obviously, it's not the main focus of the game, like a shooter. I don't know the different types of games that are out there at the moment. If there's clearly a game in which there's women who are not dressed appropriately, then these kind of things, as a Muslim, you know your belief in Allah and your belief in the Prophet ﷺ would tell you that you shouldn't be playing these kind of things if there's aura exposed. And if it's something that's not very visible, then there'd be permissibility for it, I would say. The thing you have to remember is just because they're doing it, it doesn't mean we have to find an Islamic way of allowing it. Just remember that. So there's going to be lots of things in the future which non-Muslims are going to do, and then Muslims are going to try to find a way of just justifying it. Or there's got to be some things that you put our foot down and say, right, look, this is not allowed. So to have a wide base of understanding of Arabic, would it be better to read Kailani and other kids' books instead of Mukhtarat? I would say if you can read Kailani and these and reach such a level that any Kailani book you pick up, you can easily understand it. Leave Kailani, switch to a higher book now, a more advanced Arabic book. In fact, this is something that I was actually checking out. if you go to Chat GPT and you type in there, write me a story in Arabic. Right, try this in Chat GPT. Write me a story in Arabic. In fact, let me try to show you guys. This is very good for learning language. Chat GPT. AI Chat GPT. Let's see if I can get access to it. Then, okay, yeah. Let's see if I can. It's not working. I just wanted to show you guys something. See how. Yeah, I can't seem to. Yeah, if I can get it. So basically, if you got ChatGPT, um, what you can do is you can just type in there, for example, type in ChatGPT, write 10 lines for me in Arabic, um, of a story that would be written for, let's say, 6-year-olds, and then press enter. And then what happened? It writes up for you. I'll give you a topic, let's say, and the story has to be about, let's say, the sun or the moon or going for a walk in the park. And then in Arabic, you're right. The Arabic is not the best Arabic. Like, it's very accurate, but it's not the best, as in styles. So then what you do is you can actually then ask it, write 5 questions for me to answer about this text. And then you can give it different age grade levels as well. And it's quite useful. It will basically, and then you can write it, and then you can even ask it to check if your answers are right. That's something which is excellent. Abir Khan, wa alaikum assalam. Can someone who is really advanced be trained in all 4 madhahib? Yes. Why not? My teacher told me that I shouldn't memorize vocab, just keep reading and let the words. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, what I meant was, do you tell the questioner that this is a Hanafi opinion? Normally, if it's a face-to-face sort of like answer, then I wouldn't tell them. But if it's something which like this, where I don't know who's watching, right? Like, I know obviously the guys who are replying, I know you guys, but then there's people out there I don't know. They could get confused. But isn't it because it's following the non-Muslims' ways? No. So following the non-Muslims' ways is only impermissible if it's something specific to their religion, or if it's something that is clearly frowned upon by Islam. Yeah. Al-Masira has many qiyasans. With this, how old are you now? I'm guessing 50. Close. Close. Sajid, alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. How do you do tayammum on a stone? So imagine, for example, like this is a stone. So imagine this is a stone. Yeah. So I do just touch it. That's it. Just have to touch it. One hand and touch it with the other hand. Hamza, how many subjects should a student study at once? Some institutes teach like 15 and I'm not mastering anything. so so this is something which, this madrasa system that we've got. The madrasa system is a system which has been running for, let's say, over 100 to maybe 200 years. This madrasa system that we have, which is called the Nizami system, this is not standardized. Different madrasas have different styles of teaching it. They have different curriculum for teaching it as well. Now, the one thing which is well known about the madrasa system is they'll teach you a wide range of subjects, but you won't master all the subjects. And that was the design of it. You wouldn't master them because it was to equip you with all the sciences. So then after you graduate, you're meant to continue your research and then you specialize in it afterwards. Whereas, for example, like classically, you would study one subject with the teacher for a very long time if it wasn't in the madrasa system privately. And then once you mastered that, you move on to the next one and so forth. Or you do 2 or 3 subjects. It was like that. The only problem with that was it would take you a very long time and it wouldn't be sort of, you know, under a specific body, under a specific institute. So both systems, both approaches have good advantages and disadvantages. I would say, like where I teach today so far, they have I think they have 6 subjects. Every year has 6 subjects. Some maybe 7, some maybe 5, and and I've heard of places that have about 20 in a year. Would you say it is good to combine between madhabs where possible in a way which does not result in talfiq? That's what they generally say. That's what fuqaha generally say. Observing the ikhtilafs between the madhabs is considered to be something which are good. Wa alaikum assalam. How are you today? Greetings from Germany. Ahlan wa sahlan. Vajsal. Is that Faisal? Um, in Ihram, can you use unfragranced products or must the products be labeled unscented too? Um, so I thought, is unscented and unfragranced the same thing? Is it different? Basically, the item must not have a smell in there that deliberately has been put there for fragrance. If it's just a byproduct, then it's fine. Arabic and Suhail, wa alaikum assalam. Have you memorized any of the poems and mutun, any mutun Islamic texts? I memorized many things long time ago, but unfortunately I've forgotten many things. So when you're free reading books like Qasas, Mukhtara, other children's literature, you don't even revise it. You just keep reading. Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, so learning language should be fun. Should be fun. Should be enjoyable. It should make you think a lot. I keep forcing myself to revising and revising pages in Qasas for fear of forgetting, but I think I want to do your method. Yeah, that's the best thing. How many words is a page? Also, after those 10 lines, do you find your brain automatically applying that nahu? Again, do not read. This is my advice. Do not read any Arabic thinking of the nahu. Do not do that. That's kryptonite. That is. Yeah, if you want to read, just purely read for the fun of it. Just purely read to understand what's saying. Carry on. And again, this is another this is another sort of like the downside to studying adab in a madrasa. In many madrasa setups, not all of them, where they focus so much on nahu, everything in nahu, even Sahih Bukhari on nahu. Yeah, everything is nahu, and that nahu sort of like is like a very sort of like it's like a scary general. Yeah, it's like Hitler. You're scared. Everything you're gonna read, you're scared. Oh, I don't know the nahu properly. How am I gonna read it? Yeah, there's many people out there who don't know nahu properly, but they can read nearly all the Arabic books that you'll find in a Dars Nizami. If there is then alayna or sources of anything significance, I heard Tanvi say that yes, but then later retracted. There's nothing. If so, for something to be significant, it has to be something significant in the days of Sahaba, isn't it? So the shape of the na'al is nothing significant in the day of Sahaba. We have no record of the day of Sahaba having any significance. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ slippers themselves, the physical slippers, tabarruk bi athar salihin is obviously something. But remember this, nothing in Islam can have significance unless it's something which is from the days of the Sahaba. That's the rule. Medina books or Bayna Yadayk, currently doing Medina books. My Ustaz said since they're written by non-Muslims, it's better. I have no idea. I mean, it depends whether a book's written by Muslim or non-Muslim. I don't think that really matters too much when you're learning language. The main thing is I've taught both. I would say Medina books are quicker to go through, but Arabic Benedict is longer. Medina book is quite restricted to the kind of styles it has in there. Arabic Benedict is focused more on speaking initially. What sunnah, growing the mustache or trimming it? So there's ikhtilaf in this. The ikhtilaf. The main thing is you don't let it go over your lip. Yeah, you don't let it go grow over your lip. Sajid wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. My apologies. I mean, how do you do wudu with a stone if not well, etc.? So with a stone, basically what you do is you would touch the stone on your hand, you rub it on your palm, yeah, and then you would wipe your face, and then you would touch it again, and then you'd wipe your arms. Yeah, you do your arms like that. Make sure you get all the bits and all the places. That's it. It's done. Someone told me the scholar Al-Ash'ari made repentance from his writings and interpreting Allah's attributes, and Sayyid Ghazali. Allah knows. I don't know. I haven't come across it. Can you go over the tayammum on the rock, please? How does that work? I switched. Faisal, ahla wa sahlan, my brother Faisal. Can I no missed you, my brother. Long time no see. Can a non-pious person, non-alim, non-hafiz perform tahniq? Of course, they can. Have you caught any of your students using ChatGPT for their homework? Yes. I mean, the thing is, with technology, you have to embrace technology, because if you don't embrace technology, you are going to find students are just going to go behind your back and they're going to use it anyway. So either rather what you do is you embrace technology, but you get them to use it in a wise way, right? You get them to use it and you get them to take advantage of it as well. Yeah. So at the moment, I was speaking to a teacher, one of the lecturers in university, and they were saying they're thinking about scrapping assignments now, like have a totally different way of assessing students, because now the students in universities, they're just using ChatGPT to write all the assignments, and they're not getting caught. Citrus Salams, if a guy becomes a girl and goes through a full transformation, do they become a ghair mahram? I have no idea. It's a good question though. I haven't looked into it. I want to be able to. Generally, male and female is still considered to be something which you're biologically born with. That's it. That's what it generally is. But I don't know the consequences. Is the change that takes place simply just a physiological change and not really a change in the mental change in the so just because a person cuts certain parts of their body off, it doesn't mean that they now become the opposite gender. Or just because they take certain hormones, it doesn't necessarily now mean that they become, a female or male. Just because they look like that. So Islamically, it would be what you're based upon. Would you recommend memorizing the poems on the matuns? Yes. Memorization of poems is very good. Purple plants. If the face cannot be covered in ihram, can a towel be used over the face to dry it? Yeah, so you can dry your face. It's fine. Yeah, you can dry your face, but having something over your face to cover it, no. Sometimes there are funny clips and videos of people and fail. Sometimes they can be humiliating. Can watching a video of someone be ghiba? If it's a Muslims, I would avoid anything like that, because taking enjoyment out of a Muslim's harm or a Muslim's failing, is a good thing. Mufti Sahab, are you able to write Arabic in Khat Ruq'a style? Yes, I usually write in Ruq'a style. It's easier for me. Alaikum assalam, Habib. Is it permissible to import a wife from Pakistan to the UK, or will this be considered as the hijrah of shaitan? Allah knows, my brother. I could not find the book Tuhfatullah by Sheikh Abu Bakr Asa. Any idea where it can be purchased from? I don't know where it can be purchased from, but online you can get it online. So online version, PDF version, you can get it. Is that why you recommend so many books for more exposure? Yes. Look, knowledge is all about reading. When Imam Bukhari was asked, "How comes you have such a strong memory?" Imam Bukhari said, "It's basically lots of reading. If you don't read 4 or 5 hours a day, do not expect to have a very good understanding of the sciences. Seriously, 4 or 5 hours a day, my teachers used to say, you have to read. And that was a practice of many of my teachers. 4 or 5 hours a day of reading. Very, very important. Um, and then many of the scholars used to start writing near the end of their life after they had built up a long era of reading. They began to learn. Hamza wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My son is asking, is vaping if vaping is haram? So what I would suggest is ask the doctor. Anything about vaping or anything about taking these medications, or if the doctor says this is harmful to your health, then impermissible. Yeah, so it's based upon health. What are the health risks to this? So uh, Hamza Webb's sons, I can't remember your name, or which son it is, but ahlan wa sahlan. I need to make another visit, inshallah, to Wolverhampton. I asked how many words is a page because the size of the page changes book to book. So I want to know when I need to write after. A page is usually, depends what kind of book you write, do you know what kind of book it is. It usually has about 200 words on it. A page usually has between 150 200 words. Do you think there was a bias between Ahl al-Ra'i and al-Hadith, and potential lies could have come out between them? So this term Ahl al-Ra'i and Ahl al-Hadith is actually something that did not exist in the early years. It was actually something that was pushed a lot by Muhammad Abdu, the Egyptian. Yeah, so I think these kind of things also, Orientalism plays a big role as well. Does reading come under the classes we attained or outside classes? Uh, Outside classes, yeah. Outside classes, your personal reading. Where could we learn Rasm of the Quran? Um, where could you learn it? So I don't know. I mean, you'd have to look up. You'd have to look up the science of Imla. So the science of Imla is where you want to look. Imla, and also books written on Rasm al-Uthmani. Khat Rasm al-Uthmani. There are some madrasas that actually teach that. I remember in Pakistan, there's a few madrasas that actually teach. In the first few years, they teach that. Does reading come under no? Uh, is the vaping if the vaping isn't harmful? I heard it's fine, but it's not benefiting of a Muslim. With the opposite gender, if you ask about something with purpose, do you have to be stern, or is it allowed to be normal polite? Yes, you can be more polite. If you feel as though that it's going to lead to something else, then you should be like you shouldn't be too free with it. Wa alaikum assalam, Fresh Prince, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. I think they go through gender reassignment because they already feel and think like the opposite gender. That's why. Why do we sometimes become stern with Muslims of the opposite gender, but when they're non-Muslim, opposite? Yeah, good question. Have you read about the Qiraat of the Quran of Imam Abu Hanifa? I was reading about it the other day, and if not for weakness in its isnad, it would have been one. I heard that Imam Abu Hanifa used to listen to, or used to read certain qiraat that were prevalent in Kufa. Yeah, but I can't remember. I don't know, have knowledge of which qiraat which he used to have himself. What is your approach of reading books? How do you take notes? So me, I basically have a book and have my notes, and then I just read anything interesting I come across, and just make a note, make a note, make a note. And eventually, when I finish the book, I'll have a whole list of maybe like 50 to 100 points. Yeah. I've actually got tomorrow, I've got a presentation that I'm going to be giving for a YouTube channel called Blogging Theology. It's going to be pre recorded, and then in the week sometime they'll upload it on their YouTube channel. It's going to be about Arabic adab and Taha Hussein. So for that, I've been doing a lot of reading. Past month or so, I've been doing quite a lot of reading. So usually that's what I do. Or sometimes what I do is I'll be reading through a book and I'll just highlight things, important things, make a note, and then I'll go back once I finish the book. I'll go back and then wherever I've highlighted, I look it up, and then if I find it interesting, I'll make a note of it. That way, it saves me from spending too much time reading and making notes. So it depends for me. Is it sunnah to write the Quran with hand? I've not come across that. Salam, I've heard in some Brailwi masjids after Jummah Salah, people in the congregation engage in durood audibly. Is there basis for this in the Sunnah? Not to my knowledge, but it wouldn't be anything wrong with doing it. Hamim Shah, wa alaikum assalam. What kind of animals can be kept as pets? Generally, anything that is not been prohibited in the hadith or that is not harmful. That's what they generally say. To show us your cat. I don't have a cat in this house. My old cat is in my mom's house. So what I'll do, inshallah, maybe this year, next year, I'm gonna get a cat, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless Brother Paul Williams blogging theology. Ameen. Daniel, Acha wa alaikum assalam. I think in Kuduri we did that money given as a loan cannot be fixed to a date. The creditor can ask for the money back at any time he wishes. Is it permissible to have a clause in a qard? So that's the thing. In a qard, because qard is a unilateral or a voluntary, you can say a voluntary act. That's why you can't put any conditions onto it. Clauses can only be put into something where there's a two-way. Yeah, so there's two-way. Yeah, so that's why you can't put it on qard. And the monies will not be paid back in the minimum of 2 years. Yeah, no, unless the government steps in and the government sort of like intervenes. Otherwise, you can't have that, according to majority of scholars. Yeah. Okay, how does one reconcile that they won't remember much after reading a book and this making them hesitant? Don't worry, you'll forget. You are guaranteed to forget most of what's in the book. Don't worry about it. Just always remember you are going to forget stuff. But the thing is, just try to record the most important things. That's it. He said, Jazakallah khair. It's Muhammad. Oh, Muhammad, mashallah. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Muhammad. Inshallah, Muhammad, don't worry. When I come to Wolverhampton, we're going to have Malik Burgers, Malik Butcher Burgers again, inshallah. Sheikh, what is your opinion on kissing the thumbs at the mention of Muslim? It's permissible, but but if a person believes that this is considered to be something that's necessary or anything like that, then that would be innovation. What's the difference between your online Quduri lessons on YouTube and your website? So the online Quduri ones are the ones that I draw, and the one on the website, it's live lessons that I've delivered in the past and recorded. So in a classroom setting. And the ones on the online or on the Uruk are basic. are basically the whole book. So a tiger would be okay if domesticated. Arabs sometimes have them. Yeah, so the idea is basically keeping these animals as pets If there's a strong chance that it's going to harm you, hurt you, then no. Yeah. If it's not going to harm you, hurt you, then there's scope for it if they're tamed. Is it recommended to write Quran with hand? Should it be encouraged? I don't know. There's no way in the deen that says you should write your Quran by hand. And today we don't even have to with all the printing and all that. So I haven't come across any way to say that's recommended. Sajid wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. Just want to say Jazakallah khair for doing this. You sound like you're suffering. May Allah Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Ameen. When you said your teachers read 4 to 5 hours, would that just be fun reading or like total readings? Because don't they have to read fiqh tafsirs? It would be different things, yeah. Sometimes it would be something to do with the lessons that they're teaching. Sometimes it'd just be to do with some book that they're writing, or maybe some other sort of like leisurely reading that they do. Yeah, so that's the thing. When you hear about sometimes scholars in the like around the world, even in the past, that used to spend majority of their day either teaching or reading, you realize that's how these individuals reach such levels, academic levels. Is the hadith on kissing thumbs in Muslim Bazaar da'if or da'if? So basically, the kissing of thumbs, this is mentioned by Imam Ibn Abidin, and he's saying it's an okay thing to do. Yeah, even though there's da'af in there, but because it's not considered to be something which is from the ahkam, slightly da'if hadith is acceptable. Do you have to make fresh tayammum for every salah if you're bedbound? No, you don't. How many press-ups can you do, Sheikh? I don't know. I mean, I haven't done them for a few weeks now. Actually, a week or so. But normally I can do probably maybe up to 25, 30 in one go. Yeah, one rep I can do probably 25, 30. If I do several reps, I can do it to about maybe 100. How many can you do, GH? When writing Arabic, how do you know the word you are using fits the context of what? So that's what reading helps you with. The more you read, what happens is the more you develop inside yourself, your mind knows exactly what phrase to use for this. It just naturally comes to you, but you have to do a lot of reading. So now, for example, if you tell me something in Arabic, my mind will automatically try to think of how Arabs would say this. Yeah, because of my reading of Arabic. Same with my own language, Pashto. Same with Urdu. Same with anything. So if you are well versed in a particular language, if someone says something to you in a different language, the target language, you'd be able to say something without even thinking about it. ابن آدم اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس واشف أنت شافي لا شفاء إلا شفاء لا يغادر سقما آمين جزاك الله خير لا بأس له جزاك الله خير. The content that you provide really helps a lot, and for better understanding, you're doing great. Jazakallah khair, Vaisal. Means a lot coming from you, bro. May Allah bless you and your family. If you want to say gap, you should say farj, fatha, khurm, as in there are gaps in his understanding. Good one. Sometimes students in madrasa be reading other books outside of the curriculum, neglecting their madrasa books. I heard if you spend too much time reading literature books, it will hurt development. It depends. Yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends what you want to strengthen. If you want to strengthen your Arabic literature, then obviously you want to read more Arabic literature books. If you want to develop your understanding of history or other subjects. How should children be taught Arabic? I don't have any children, so I've never taught children Arabic, so I wouldn't be able to. I think best thing if you want to teach kids anything, you teach them like they learn in school. Yeah, kids' books, Arabic books, you go through them line by line, you read it to them, they read it after you, like that. Did you see Maulana Ilyas Qadri's way of separating the saf by putting yourself in a sutra? No, can't say I've seen it. Where do scholars, imams find energy and strength to perform the same work all their life, e.g., imam and teaching? Don't they feel like giving up? Some of them probably do. I mean, I know many who have given up teaching and got tired of it. But the thing you have to remember is, when you become a scholar or you become an imam or khatib, what happens is you usually go into that because you're passionate about it. And that's something which you see, you're seeing the benefits of it amongst the people. So that's why I think that's people do. It's passion. If you're passionate about something, I mean, alhamdulillah, I'm passionate about the work that I do. Yeah, I teach, I read, I give talks, and that's something which I'm passionate about. Things that I'm not passionate about is doing nikahs. I do not like doing nikahs. I'll only do nikahs of someone who I know. Actually, I'm supposed to do the guy's nikah end of this month. He requested if I can do it. But I don't like doing nikahs. I don't like doing these things. I get tired of that. I give it to other people too. I'm not good at imamat. Imamat, I'm not good at that at all. I find it very hard. Maybe I could do 10 to 15 press ups in one set, total probably 50 Jumla, to be honest. I used to do a lot of MMA in the past. Yeah, so we had to do like sometimes in one session, we had to do between 100 to 150. Many masjids have a condition that they will pay back the qard after a certain time. Okay. When I have read a bit in a day, my speaking exponentially improves so much so that I use expressions that I never thought. Yeah, definitely. Walaikum assalam. Habib, you changed accounts so quick. Zaina, ahlan wa sahlan. Walaikum salam. Do potential new in-laws have to be informed of a divorce? Do potential new in-laws. So if a person feels as though this is gonna affect the marriage later on, then they should definitely inform them. Yeah. So if a person is gonna meet a family, they should tell them that they have been in a marriage before. Yeah, I think that would be a wise thing to do. I've seen things happen in the past. People get married and they found out later on, and then it just causes a lot of problems in the distrust. I like your Jumu'ah khutbahs and qiraat the Quran. Ahlan wa sahlan, jazakallah khair. GH, yeah. So which mosque are you at, GH? When someone believes in Hazir Nazir, is there a meaning it which isn't understood? Ustad? Also the matter of Prophet being. So I don't understand that, brother. Is it okay for someone who is not at all able to pray Jummah Salah due to work to continue in that job while it'd be permissible to continue so long as they try to either sort out a Jummah or try to secure another job, yeah. Yusha Sayyid, when reading Kelani, there's always those 10, 20 words that I don't know. Should I stick with it then? Yeah. Yeah. Stick with it, bro. Stick with it. Okay, let's just see some curious questions. So if she doesn't ejaculate while orgasming, yes. I would like advice. What is the best way to not compare yourself to other Muslims or where they are in life or how they appear? I feel down sometimes when I see people more better covered than me and they are in different life stage. Example, they are married and I am not. Making dua helps to remove the feeling. Okay, so what are some advice for this? So I would say that a person needs to be mindful of their journey in life. Everyone is going through different challenges. And everyone sees grass as greener in others. Yeah, so you always have to remember this. Allah has ordained for everyone every aspect of their life. So turning to Allah is the first thing you do. Then remembering that the more you have in life is the more you will have to leave behind when you die. And make dua for those who you feel jealous of. Yeah, that's the most important thing to understand is people you are going to see people, but sometimes you just gotta kind of like ignore, turn away. uh, However, in Islam, would it be sinful for me not to mention a divorce? No, it won't be sinful for you. Jazakallah khair. Safi answers. Also, it's nice seeing you. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. I got to see Be Good and the crew, inshallah. So, definitely, inshallah, I'll be coming down. I'm supposed to be giving a talk in that mosque maybe next month or so. So, I might be back down there, inshallah. Hey, wa alaikum assalam. Is it permissible for women to shave, pluck hair from their foreline, i.e., changing the shape of their forehead to make it look bigger? Possibly, yeah. They can possibly do that. If as long as it's not something which is too excessive. If it's just trying to make it neater. As a Maktab teacher, how can I explain to parents that the Islam taught in schools in RE lessons is different from Maktab itself? Yeah, I can imagine parents saying they learn about Islam in school, isn't it? Yeah. What I would say is, is that do they know what they're teaching them about Islam in schools? Do they know? So generally, they don't know what they're teaching them. Yeah, they're not teaching them du'as. They're not teaching them of how to be closer to Allah. They're not teaching them. So I think that's the best way to go about it. I go to almost all the masajid in Birmingham, to be honest. Depends where I'm at. Ahlan wa sahlan, brother. Okay. What's the ruling on urinating by bushes, trees if there's no toilet nearby? Salam. So long as it's not by a road path where people sit or pass by, then it would be allowed. Is littering a major sin? No, it's not. Sometimes my brother asks if I can pick them up from sports practice, but the issue is that when they go, they miss the Dhuhr prayer and end up praying Dhuhr after Asr time has already come. Should I allow them to go or tell them no? Salam. Yes, you you can drop them off. Their salah is between them and Allah. I would recommend that you remind them regularly. about the importance of Salah on time and possibly read to them virtues of Salah. The reason why people don't pray Salah on time is simply because they don't have a strong connection with Allah. If you have a strong connection with Allah, if you know the virtues of why you're praying Salat, these are things that make a big difference. Yeah, 100% make a big difference. The more you have in life, the more you leave behind. Very deep. Should we therefore be satisfied in life with the little? Of course, that's it. This is why it comes in a hadith that look at those people who are below you in life, uh, and you'll be satisfied with what you've got. The problem today is because of social media, you're most likely going to see a person that's got a better car than you, a better, probably looks better than you, probably has more wealth than you, is eating food that's probably more expensive than what you eat, and lives in a house that's more expensive than what you live in, and seems to be smiling a lot, so happy. So these, when you keep looking at these things, you forget what you have. That's a sad reality of commercialism and capitalism. Jazakallah khair. Ahlan wa sahlan, Yusha. Akramakumullah. Shuruti alaikum assalam. Everyone, I took my shahada recently and I want to know how I can learn namaz before doing it. So what I would suggest, Shuruti, is you can go online on YouTube and you can type in how to pray my salah. Right, and you can find loads of videos, inshallah. Well done. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to Islam. Ibn Adam Ustad, what herbal remedies you have for your ill health? So I've heard of this new thing. So I take honey and I take black pepper. I take that regularly. But the problem is this quite hot, as in, it creates the inside to get quite hot. So I've heard of this one thing where you put onions and you put honey and you leave for a few hours. And then you take a few spoons of that. So I'm going to try that, see that. And besides that, just normal, Vicks, take Vicks and drink lots of herbal teas, Joshanda, and eat lots of antioxidants, yeah, berries, these things. I don't know, any recommendations you guys have? Why do some people put arms on around in sajda? Why do some people put arms on ground in sajda whilst praying? Is there some different opinion? So in Hanafi fiqh, your elbows should not touch the ground for men. Men's elbows should not touch the ground. So as long as the elbows don't touch the ground, it's okay. Some people, they probably pray, they don't know. So could you clarify the issue of combining intentions for qada and nafal of shawwal? So generally, it's not allowed, qada and nafal. But because of the shawwal one, I later on I decided that, especially those people out there, especially women who want to fast shawwal and do qada as well. So the fasting of shawwal, is it specific 6 days of fasting, or is it just fasting in shawwal? So some of the scholars say it's just fasting in shawwal. As long as you have fasted in shawwal, whatever the fast is, then that's so I think that opinion is easier for those people who can't fast. Ideally, you fast the shawwal one separate and the qada one separate. That's the according to the qaida. Ustad, mashallah. Black seed oil, yeah? Yeah, black seed oil. Yeah, I'm gonna try that in the morning. Jazakallah khair. Reminds me, good one. Adil, do you know of any advanced Arabic level other books that also have the English translation in order to help make sure one has correctly comprehended the text? I think some people have translated the Sabah Muallaqat into English. Orientalists have. Orientalists have done a lot of work on these things. If you look at, for example, Arbery, yeah, so A.J. Arbery, He's done a lot of work, and I would recommend them if you're looking for English. I would recommend them. So poems that have been translated into English. The English is a bit archaic English, but you can check that out. And there's a yeah, check that out. There's a few translations that have been done recently. I think Mutanabbi. Mufti Sahab, have you ever had antibiotics? Yes, but I had bad experience with antibiotics in the past, so I don't like taking them. I wanted to ask, what can someone who is losing hair eat and also apply? I have no idea. Unfortunately, I didn't do takhasus in herbal remedies. Can if anyone can help Ibn Adam, can hal ever be a mustard? Yes. Can hal describe the condition of action and not the file or the maf'ul? Yes, and that's what it describes. Hal describes an action, but the action has to have a zulhal, an individual that's doing the action. Okay, does removing tonsils break wudu? Please Google tonsil stones. Mine are much smaller. Okay, so if any liquid comes out, then it will break wudu. Otherwise, it won't. If someone is in Saudi for Umrah Hajj, can they pray their salahs based on their timetable? Yes. Actually, all that's finished now. Okay, guys, I'm gonna finish it off. Honey and ginger, yeah. Rehan saying honey and ginger. Inshallah, I will try that honey and ginger. I've actually been taking a lot of turmeric as well, but I just I was ill just about 2 weeks ago, if you remember. Now all of a sudden again, no qadar Allah, qadar Allah masha. There's khair in getting ill. There's a lot of khair in calamities and hardships in life. There's lots and lots of khair. They say on the day of judgment, people who have gone through a lot of problems in life will look at the reward that that's been stored for them and will wish all of their life was filled with calamities. Imagine that. So that's one of the things that people who have gone through a lot of difficulties in life, whether it's mental or physical or financial or marital problems with community or whatever it is, this is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not let anything go unrewarded. Any difficulty that you're going through, He does not let it go unrewarded. And that's something that we can't realize. That we say, why does Allah make this happen to me? Why? We realize that Allah has everything planned for us, and on the day of Qiyamah, imagine you come in front of Allah and you look at your whole life and you just see these dots in your life that this is where something happened, and this is where something happened, and this is where something happened, and then it's nothing compared to your whole life. It was only like a few dots, a few pixels, and then you think to yourself, SubhanAllah, I wish I had more. I wish I was ill for longer. I wish I was bedbound. I wish I was this. So we're too late. You obviously don't ask for that in this dunya, but if you get it from Allah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has some of the highest rewards prepared for those individuals. Could you give example of a hal being mustard? Yeah. So for example, man qama Ramadana imanan wa ihtisaban. So imanan, yeah, imanan, yeah, wa ihtisaban. So that word imanan is a mustard, and there's several tarkibs you can do with it. One of the tarkibs is mu'minan. Hala kawnihi mu'minan. Is it possible to remove najasa from the body using wet wipes? Yes, you can do that. Wa alaikum assalam. AI. All right, guys. So take care, inshallah. May Allah bless all of you guys. Keep you healthy. Keep you protected from fitnas and jealousy and hardships in life that will take you away from Allah. And put barakah in your wealth, in your time, and make you inspirational people for future generations as well. if someone has done 6 qada fasts during Shawwal, would they have been counted among reward of Shawwal and fulfilled their qada? So, like I said, there would be ikhtilaf in this. If a person can do the separate, if a person can do the fasts separately, they should do them. But if they can't, they find it very difficult, then I would say that it would be done, inshallah. Yeah, Allah is Kareem. Allah is, Allah has vast treasures of reward prepared. Because there's a lot of people that find it difficult to fast. Yeah, fasting isn't an easy thing. There are people out there who literally find it difficult. They can't function in the day properly. They find it very hard to be able to fast. No, I will fast. All right, guys, take care, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'm just gone off Instagram. All right, guys, take care.